The Honourable Member for Rabaul.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. My questions without notice is for the Minister for Civil Aviation to respond to. Mr. Deputy Speaker, the questions concern the integrity of performance of contracts for the construction of runways throughout the country, aircraft runways. And these questions are being asked with a view to especially Tokua Airport in the East New Britain province. Many comments have been made following the downgrading of flights to and from Rabaul, especially to Rabaul, because of the quality of the runway of Tokua. Now, my questions concern safety. A lot of comments have been expressed by traveling public on their downgrading of their flights, and especially on the risk of aircrafts crashing because the runway was shortened. Now, my main question is, does the Minister have any intention to review especially the quality of runways throughout the country? When you compare runways throughout this country with runways in other developed countries, their runways are built of better quality materials than ours. So my question is whether the Minister responsible is going to undertake a review, especially of performances, the specifications, whether specifications for the construction of runways are being met by the contractors. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
The Honourable Minister for Civil Aviation.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker, and I would like to thank also the member for Rabaul, and at this juncture to congratulate him and welcome him to the Parliament on behalf of my people in the Matanai, New Ireland Province. In relation to the Honourable Member's question, yes, there was an incident that happened at the Tokua runway in relation to pavement failure. The incident took place around the 21st of May, and my office was reported on the 24th of May. Just by way of background, the Japanese government through JICA built the Tokua Airport and runway after the volcano eruption back in September 1994, and construction was completed back in 1998. Since then, there's been some minor attention given to the runway, but the deterioration of the runway has occurred because of the constant heavy aircraft landing and taking off at that particular airstrip. In relation to going forward, NAC, the National Airport Corporation, who's responsible for Tokua Airport and airports alike, have issued what we call a notum, a notice to airmen that the certain section of the runway cannot be used, and the exact measurement of that particular section is 161 meters in Bagarap, and it encompasses 600 meters from what they call the 28 approach, meaning the approach towards the Buka end of the runway. So that has shortened the runway length to about 1,000 meters. So we've notified the industry We've notified the public, and I would like to use this as well to notify the public to reiterate that due to the conditions of the runway, we've got to now downgrade the aircraft, unfortunately. And the only aircraft now that can actually use the runway and its current length, avoiding the peeling of the pavement end, will be only a Dash 8 for now. No more Fokker 100, no more Q400 aircraft, or ATRs for that matter. It's only now a Dash 8. And this will go on for 2 weeks as we're trying now to look into the matters to try and resolve the issue. Our action plan so far from NAC perspective is we have now airlift, what we call premix tar, that's going to go and quickly repair that particular 161 meter area. That will take about a couple of weeks. NOTAM has been issued, so no heavier plane other than a Dash 8 can land on that runway, have been given. So it'll take about 2 weeks to remedy the issue. NAC is on top of it. NAC is attending to the matter, and we're trying to do it as quickly as we can to get normalcy back to the runway operating normally again. In terms of long term, which is basically one of your questions you've asked, Tokua Airport, I admit, and most of us leaders who've traveled in and out of Tokua, has deteriorated a lot, and it's on the board or the plan focus of NAC to try and improve the airport and the runway. So in relation to answering that question, there is current discussions happening now with the Japanese government to see whether they're happy to take on that responsibility to come back and upgrade the airport, boat terminal and runway. And that discussion is on foot right now, so I cannot elaborate too much until the agreement is actually signed. There's also discussion about looking at trying to incorporate the upgrade of Tokua Airport, boat terminal and runway under an ADB, Asian Development Bank arrangement. As we're all aware that the CADEP 2 have been signed already, but we're trying now to introduce some other important airports that we feel that have been left out and try to introduce that discussion and try to negotiate to fit them in. So that's where we're at right now. Priority is take Tokua Airport, as it is all other major airports within the country, and we'll do our best to make sure we get that airport up and running sooner rather than later. Thank you, Honourable Member, for your question.
You have a supplementary.